Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. At this point in War Thunder, I have spaded over 2,200 vehicles. We're specifically at 2,224 as recording of this video. And what I've realized is there's a lot of vehicles that I haven't played in a very long time that I go back to every so often just to kind of recap on and see how they are in the current year. And one of them I thought I'd talk about today is the Tiger II-H. Ended up playing it the other day alongside the Tiger II-P, the Polka Stora, also the Ju-288, and also there's the Stora 45 in kind of a fun little lineup for the pages of history that was about, and therefore, why not have a chat about it? The Tiger II-H is one of my most played vehicles. It's one of those where I put a lot of games into it, hundreds and hundreds of battles, which is not usually typical for me because normally I spade a vehicle and then move on. But the Tiger II has always been quite enjoyable, and now that they've added the engine sound, kind of like, well, it's more dedicated engine sound, I think it sounds really cool too. The problem that the Tiger II-H has, though, is it's at 6.7, and at 6.7, it's a very crowded BR. The fact is, America has a ton of heavies at this BR, which are basically just kind of better than you. There's also a lot of light vehicles that are wandering around at this BR that have access to chemical munitions that can kind of just penetrate straight through you. And then if you get up-tiered, you basically just face vehicles that are designed like you, but better, such as the IS-3, the IS-4, or even stuff like the T-29 or the T-32. So you're kind of in a bit of a weird spot. The thing is, though, if you get downed in this thing, it's an absolute monster. So it's incredibly dependent on the actual matchmaking that you get at the time that you play it. So some people can have a really good experience in this thing, facing a lot of 5.7s, a lot of 6.0s, mainly stuff like Hellcats and also stuff such as Shermans and T-3485s, whereas other people end up facing a lot of IS-3s, for example, and also a lot of other vehicles with chemical munitions, such as M46s, which penetrate through your armor without really thinking. So it's just in a very weird spot, and that basically means that you can play it one day, have a very, very fantastic experience, and then you can play it the next day, and you can have an absolutely awful experience with the vehicle. And that just kind of makes me sad, because as I said, it's one of my favorite vehicles in the game to actually play. The speed of the vehicle isn't exactly great. It's good enough at 700 horsepower, with the Tiger II SLAR getting a little bit more in terms of general mobility. The gun is incredibly fun to use, one of the best sounds in the game, especially since they brought back the old sound that it had. And the other thing that's actually really nice about the vehicle is the best round that it gets access to is actually its stock round, the PZGR3943. The APC-BC one. So you don't actually have to faff about with grinding out any of the other rounds. You can just kind of focus on their mobility and also their firepower in terms of horizontal drive and elevation mechanism. So it means that it's a bit easier to grind than other vehicles where you rely on getting those rounds. Like, for example, stuff like the M46 that we talked about before, you need to get the Heat FS round to actually be properly competent. Yes, the AP with the HE filler is nice, but nowhere near as good as the Heat, especially against stuff like the Tiger II. So generally, the actual grind for it is not too bad. The gun itself, as I said, is quite fun, but it does have a bit of a problem with its bouncy nature. Because this thing has pretty good gun depression, but also pretty tall, the gun end up kind of bouncing with its vertical speed not being great, but most vehicles are like that at this BR, so it's not like a huge issue. It's generally just, you know, part and parcel of what this vehicle is. And also at the same time, what is actually quite nice about this is it does have a pretty decent reverse gear. So if your vehicle is bouncing around with its gun, you screw up a shot, you can also defensively kind of move back, angle, and then go to a different area, which I think actually works pretty well. Another thing to also mention is if you stick this thing in CC1 or Cruise Control 1, the gun will stay stabilized as you move forward, which is very nice in general. Now, the Tiger II used to be a lot more survivable than it is now. They made a lot of changes to the game, which basically massively reduced its survivability. Not just in matchmaking, with the fact that now you face as I said, just better vehicles than yourself, but also with the way that the ammunition works. Basically now, you have a first stage ammo storage in the back of the turret, so if your turret gets penned, there is a large chance that you are just going to pop within one shot. And that kind of makes me sad, because one of the things about these vehicles, you're supposed to be a bit tanky. You're supposed to be able to actually tank a lot of shots, and the Tiger II doesn't, along with many other vehicles which also have this issue. The other thing with the Tiger II-H is it has this well, basically very, very easy to pen mantlet on the turret. The way you actually destroy a Tiger II without really worrying about it is you wait until it aims at you and then you just shoot that mantlet, and it's only 185 millimeters, and most guns will go through that. So that is an unfortunate thing for the vehicle. The other crazy thing is the Tiger II-P, which is just a worse version of the Tiger II-H because it has a much worse turret, is also at 6.7. Never really understood why they did that change, but c'est la vie, that's where it is. And the other thing that's really annoying about playing the Tiger II-H right now, CAS. My god, CAS has just taken over the mid-tiers and has done for a long time. You have so many CAS elements, whether it's Corsairs, whether it's Bearcats, whether it's P47s, whether it's TU2s, whether it's Yak 9Ks. You just have everything just annihilating stuff over and over and over again. So that's why I kind of had to take out the Pulkish Storer and basically start blapping people with it, which you'll see some highlights of in this video. But with the Tiger II itself, there were so many times where I would, you know, play, get a cap, get a few kills, try and go forward, and then instantly, boom, just got exploded by a bomb somewhere and ended up dying. It was, to be honest, quite disheartening, and I understand that a lot of people kind of like focus on the top tier of the game when it comes to the CAS issues and all of those things, but for me, when I look at a vehicle like the Tiger II-H, what I think about is, well, this vehicle also is one that has to deal with all the CAS stuff and generally isn't very good at dealing with it. You know, it's quite easy to bomb this thing, it's massive, and because everybody uses at least 1,000-pounders nowadays, it's very easy to go after. Now, at 6.7, you also have a pretty cool lineup. You have the Tiger II-H, you have the Bulldog, you have the Tiger II-P, you have the Ferdinand, you have the Yak Tiger. If you've done the events, you have the SPZ, the Elephant, and then also you have some of the other ones that you can bring along, such as the Flak Panzer 341, which hopefully one day they'll bring back. So the actual lineup around this vehicle and ground is pretty fun. The air part of it, or the CAS part of it, isn't. You have the Pulkish Storer, and that's about it, unless you have a bunch of premiums. You can bring the HE177, I suppose, but that gets shot down quite easily. The JU288 is easily the better option, and also the HE177A3 with its missiles, if you can get them working, by the way, or guided bombs, whatever you want to call them. But if you can get them working, is fantastic, but that's really about it. You do also have the Arado with the 3 individual 500 kilo bomb drops. That's actually really good. But once again, the problem with that vehicle is the simple fact that it can't defend itself. So all of these vehicles together can work really well, but they all have distinct disadvantages which can make them kind of annoying to play. And I get why people get annoyed at playing this lineup, because of the fact that that is the case. But for me, the Tiger II will always have a fun place in my heart, and I feel like hopefully in the future, with a bit more BRD compression, especially of that 7377 area, it'll be king once again. As always, let me know your thoughts about the Tiger II. Look after yourselves, peace be with you. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.